Hi everyone, today I have the 5th video in my series on Megaminx fundamentals. This will cover S2L, which is similar to F2L but has a few key differences. This video is divided into two main sections, solutions and lookahead. The solution section is then split into two smaller sections, which are solving S2L pairs and solving S2L star edges. One thing I want to mention before starting is that the concepts covered in this video will apply to both Eastland, where you solve counterclockwise around the Megaminx, and Westland, where you solve clockwise. The tips in this video should apply to both solving styles, and there will be a mix of Eastland and Westland in the examples that I will share. With that, let's get into the video. For solving S2L pairs, you can apply the same ideas from the previous F2L videos. These mainly focused on setting up three common cases based on corner orientation above the slot. Here it's a pink cream, and following the parallel line of edges that a corner can connect to. This for the pink blue. One difference in S2L is you'll often see both pair pieces at the same time, which gives you better opportunities to create efficient solutions. Even with these F2L pieces solved, the first few S2L faces will have a lot of flexibility, which can help you reach the 3-move insert case for each slot more often. Here with the pink cream, the edges here and the corners right above the slot, you can do an F2 and then get this 3-move insert. The last S2L face is a little different, but is still approachable since it mainly uses more standard 3x3 pair solutions. The usual approach is to solve one edge first and then solve the remaining pairs around it. For Eastland, the last face usually ends up on the right side. I usually solve this edge first, which is green-blue, because it leaves two front right pairs and one back right pair. For Westland, the last face usually ends up on the front. Solving this edge first, which is blue-green, leaves two FR pairs and one front left pair. Here you can do, if you shift this slot, then you'll get this pair here. Once you solve that, you'll get this next front right pair. After the first front right pair, you can rotate and finish with a front right and a back right pair. You can also solve both of these front right pairs first and rotate afterwards to get 3 front right pairs overall. The main thing to keep in mind on the last face is the order of your pairs, since solving the wrong pair first can create a gap that is difficult to fix later. Here, if you solve this blue-green edge, you can't really solve this pair before this pair, because if you were to do that, then you'd have this gap for the blue, green, purple that you can't really fix. If you end up in this scenario, you'd have to break up this blue, orange, purple pair and then end up doing 4 pairs for your S2L. Although forming S2L pairs is similar to forming F2L pairs, inserting those pairs can be a bit different. The way you insert a pair can impact the next case, so it helps to be comfortable with a variety of insertions. Some common options are the regular insert, the U2 insert, the U2 prime insert, and some of the sledgehammer inserts. This is one like this, and then another one is like that. You should focus on learning how these different insertions affect nearby pieces rather than looking for one best insertion after each pair. Over time, this will help you build the intuition needed to recognize which insertions will set up the next pair well. Oftentimes, multiple insertions can have a similar effect on the surrounding pieces, especially the U2 and the U2 prime inserts I showed earlier. For this setup here, we have a completed green-pink pair, and we see the yellow-green pair here. If you insert this with the regular insert, these pieces are not like a little difficult to connect together. You can form a 3-move insert like this, but then you have to move it around and to get to this slot. But here, if you use a U2 insert, then you'll have this connected pair here, and you can rotate down to insert it like that. Or from here, you can do a U prime and then insert it like this 3-move insert. Another option is doing the U2 prime insert, since both the U2 prime and the U prime insert will simply drop this layer down and then move this corner out of the way and then bring the layer back up. So you can use the U2 prime insert to do the same thing, just with like an extra U move. And both are better than the standard insert. Var slot cases also provide another opportunity to influence the next pair. In this S2L setup here, from here, the yellow-green pair kind of is like a little bit further down compared to this green-pink pair, which is in the front, in the back right. When solving these cases, you can often carry pieces along during any extra setup moves that you'll have to do to make up for this slot being a little further away. For this specific pair, you can do a R2U R2 prime to solve it. The first 2 moves will stay the same, but after this first R prime move, you can usually add a U move to make the next case a little better. In this specific example, for the green-pink, if I do a U2 prime and then continue with the R prime move, I will get a 3-move insert for my next pair. This is the same case, all in one motion. Here I'm going to do a R2U R prime. From here I'm going to do a U2 prime. I'll finish this pair by doing an R prime, and then I'll do my next pair with the 3-move insert. You can also use extra setup moves to preserve good cases that appear without you setting them up yourself. If you already see a good pair but know you still need to do one extra R move, especially for this var slot, you can move that pair out of the way so the first pair's solution does not mess up the second pair's good solution. For these 2 green pairs, green-yellow and green-pink, I can insert this pair with a R2 U2 prime, or U prime, and then an R2 prime. After the first R prime, I see that this pair is fully formed. If I continue with the R prime, this will get split up, but instead I can move this out of the way with a U move, and then after I can then finish my first pair, and then now I'll have the second pair, a very easy case. Now let's look at solving S2L edges. Usually I solve the edge first and the pair afterwards. The edge solutions I use generally move the edge to the U layer and then insert the edge depending on its orientation. For one orientation where the kind of, I guess, base color is on the U face, you can simply do a U move to bring it to the layer and then do an R2 prime. For the other orientation where the piece is in the U layer but the base color is on like the front or back instead, you can bring the edge here to the front and then do a F R prime F prime. These solutions are pretty straightforward, which makes it easier to plan for the upcoming S2L pairs. There are some situations where I would not solve the S2L edge first. The main examples are easy block building opportunities and nearby 3-move inserts. These cases require a bit more planning, but usually take fewer moves than solutions that insert the edge first and then the pair. For this S2L face, where it's mainly blue with a green-blue S2L edge, here I see the edge here, but I also see this corner, which can be connected to the edge with one move. The pair edge is in the back here, so I can do a BR2 prime, then a U prime and R2 prime to solve the pair and edge together. Personally, I would limit these exceptions to the easy block building opportunities and 3-move inserts. Some other combined edge and pair solutions may also save moves, but they often require some tougher finger tricks, mainly involving the back faces of the Megaminx. These are a little harder to execute consistently, and also are probably a little bit more difficult to look ahead during as well. Another situation where I would not solve the edge first is when the pair is already close to its slot. Solving the edge first here can push the pair into the back of the puzzle, which will make it harder to solve afterwards. For here, I see that this cream blue pair is almost done. And if I insert this green edge, the corner will still be here, but then the edge is going to be all the way in the back. That's going to be a much worse case. Here, in these cases, you can also often attach the edge while moving the pair into position and kind of save a move compared to the solutions that insert the edge and corner one at a time. For this pair, you can do a R to set up a 3-move insert, and you can, instead of doing a U prime and then R prime, you can, I think, cancel one move by lifting this up, doing a U prime, and then bringing this down like so. Now I will cover look ahead during S2L. This is probably one of the best stages to practice look ahead, since S2L pieces are much closer together than F2L pieces. A good starting point is to memorize the edges and pairs needed for each face. The first face, which is red for me, will have 2 star edges and 3 pairs. The second 2 faces, which will be green, have 1 edge and 2 pairs. The next face, purple, will have 1 edge and 2 pairs as well. And the last face will have 1 edge here, the green-blue, and 3 pairs. The S2L pair and edge order stays the same every solve, so learning it well will help you make the most of the closer pieces in S2L. In addition, you also don't need to be super flexible with the S2L edges, since this stage has enough freedom where you can usually build efficient solutions, but even with the same S2L base edge each time. One idea that can help with S2L look ahead is building a rhythm on where you should look during the S2L phases. Forming pairs usually happens on the outer layers, so usually from here I will pay attention to kind of these pieces here and some here. Afterwards, while you're inserting the pair, your moves will mainly be in the front of the Megaminx. So when I'm trying to insert a pair, that's when I'll really look at these pieces to see what I need to do next. Another part of this look ahead rhythm is when it comes to looking at these front pieces of S2L, you usually don't have to look at them too closely to see what pieces they have. Each S2L face is one Y rotation away from the next, so you'll generally have a good idea of what's over here, even if you don't look at it super closely. This means you can kind of spend more time looking at these outer faces where there's a lot more possibilities on where the pieces are. Another idea that can help with Lookahead is using a process of elimination between the S2L faces. Usually I divide the Megaminx into the front, this kind of right side, and then this back left side. If I know that a piece is not in the back left or in the front, then I will know that it's going to be on the right somewhere. Having this process of elimination in mind will help you make sure that when you rotate to find more pieces, you're rotating into an area that you haven't already checked yet. Those are all of the S2L tips I have for this video. The next video will cover S2L example solves for both Eastland and Westland. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.